Mbulawa, who is the CEO of Prism Holdings, and we are going to be having a conversation today about her views, your views of gender equality in your industry. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So just to start the conversation, tell us a little bit more about yourself and the company.
I am Sindi Mbulawa. I am the CEO at Prism Investment Holdings. Prism is an investment banking firm where we advise our clients on independent mergers and acquisitions, as well as efficient capital raising and structuring services. Our focus is primarily on the mining and energy and infrastructure sectors within sub-Saharan Africa. And my role at Prism is basically to manage strategy formulation and implementation. I also ensure that operational activities meet and exceed our clients' needs. In addition to that, I also manage and create business networks and assist our clients in evaluating potential transactions that fit their business strategies.
The thing is, nobody wakes up and one day they're the CEO of a big company. So tell me more about the journey you took to get here.
After I qualified as a metallurgical engineer, I started my working career at one of the largest gold producers, where I quickly moved to management of operational activities as well as plant optimization. So I then spent over 10 years working for a multinational project engineering design firm, where my responsibilities covered project development across various project phases, from conceptual to implementation across various commodities. Part of my responsibilities also included efficient design of logistics routes from mine pits to clients' gates, essentially. And in 2020, I co-founded Prism, and I've been serving as the CEO since.
So tell me a bit more about what you're focusing on right now in this season for yourself and for the company.
Our key focus is energy for our clients. As we all know that there's a very big drive towards balancing decarbonization and energy security. And the current geopolitical events have led, unfortunately, to very volatile and unstable energy markets. And that has necessitated the acceleration of commercialization of cleaner and newer energy solutions. For example, there's about over $100 billion of US dollars globally that is going towards green energy projects to satisfy that need for decarbonization and energy security for our clients. And there's various other solutions to satisfy this dual purpose.
So on this, tell us about the value of independent advice.
Well, some of the biggest corporate financial scandals over the past couple of decades, from the likes of Enron, the South African Revenue Services, Steinhoff, the global financial crisis, had been signed off by external advisors. However, the fact that external advisors lack independence meant that they could bend the rules a little bit, because obviously because their corporates are pursuing revenue streams from these clients.
So more practically, what are you and Prism doing in this regard?
So independence for Prism means that our income is coming only from our advice, and our trust is essentially our trading card.
What is the link between natural resources and infrastructure?
Risks for the selection and the choice of exporting routes for bulk commodities and midstream processing facilities in oil and gas and green hydrogen, just to name a few, cannot be separated from primary commodity risks. So at Prism, we provide financial solutions to support these opportunities.
Now, you are a woman of color in the CEO hot seat, and unfortunately, that is not all too frequent now in sectors like the mining and the financial fields. What was that like for you when you were rising up in the ranks?
Well, first of all, being a CEO comes with enormous responsibilities. And secondly, being a woman of color, an African woman, within the natural resources and financial services sector has its own challenges.
Why do you think these challenges prevail, and is it changing?
One of the challenges is that there are more critics than there are supporters, and you are expected to fit into a certain mold where traditionally leaders in these sectors were expected to behave in a certain way, both professionally and personally. And I'd like to go back to when I started my career after graduating, working for a gold processing plant. At the time of my employment there, there were no basic facilities for females, such as ablution and change rooms for women, and that was quite a challenge for me. And also another challenge that I used to experience was as a graduate working into that environment. There were certain jokes that were mentioned and that made me question my own competencies and led to me wondering whether my contribution was being valued appropriately. However, I do believe that currently there is a big shift towards recognizing women and women empowerment, particularly women of color, because there's a lot of acknowledgement and recognizing success, and we're seeing it a lot, and it's in our faces a lot. And personally for myself, I believe that the lessons that I gained in my earlier years of my career have gave me perspective in terms of how to manage different roles in life, in my life, such as being a mother, being a leader, for that matter, being a wife, being a daughter. I think generally a well-rounded person overall.
As a woman in leadership, let's be honest, you kind of become an automatic role model and change leader to some degree. So what do you think can be done or should be done to shift the needle?
So part of my passion over and above managing and leading a well-run business is to engage with young women and up-and-coming ladies in the sectors on various challenges and topics that are occupying the space. And I do this through mentorship, both professionally and personally, and engage on topics such as integrating work and family expectations.
So what would you like to see in the future, both for the industries as a whole and for the women in them?
As Prism grows, I plan to contribute towards recognizing women and empowering women, women of color specifically, not just on specific and selected events such as Women's Month, but for 365 days and a quarter every year.
Just to sum it up, why is all of this so important to you?
To ensure that people's contribution is rewarded and valued based on their competency, not just on demographics. And I believe that is true meritocracy.
It sounds like there's a beautiful future ahead, both for Prism and the industry.
Absolutely. And I would like to say that you must watch Prism grow through the beauty of its multicolored fabric of its DNA.
Thank you so much for speaking to me today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.